All right, this time let's talk about the different kinds of bias. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of bias, but it doesn't matter what kind it is. We all know bias is wrong. And what's the one common denominator in all these different kinds of bias? It's the four-letter word bias, guys. It doesn't matter whether it's conscious or unconscious, whatever it is, we all know that bias is wrong and it needs to be eliminated not only from the appraisal industry, but from the real estate and mortgage lending business. Bias has no place in the real estate industry in any shape or form. Now, one way that I think that we can make bias so much better is by going to one of our most basic skills. What's that? The selection of comparable sales, truly comparable sales. There's one thing about bias that we need to remember is that in an appraisal report, if it's bias, it leaves evidence. Think about that now. If there's bias in an appraisal report, it is going to leave some type of evidence. And most of the time, it's in the comparable sales. If you've got, quote, exceeding adjustments in these appraisal reports, well, there's got to be a reason for that, and sometimes there truly is, but it needs to be explained very well. Bias comes in, of course, many different shapes and colors, but the thing is with bias is it's going to leave a trail that somebody knowingly of the local market, they can spot that in a minute, guys. And we need to go back to the beginning, whether it's agent or appraiser, learning how to select the proper comparable sales. Sure, it is an art form. It's always going to be. And it's one of those reasons why computers can never select comparables appropriately. Just as an example, let's talk about a golf front lot. You see in MLS a golf front sale. Well, you go out and look at the property. One lot is on the green, level with it, looking down just a little bit. Midway through, the fairway, there's other lots on that. Well, you get towards the tee and it slopes way downhill. So we've got a lot at the end of that golf course or the end of the tee box that's looking uphill. Do they see the golf course? No, but it's listed in MLS as a golf front lot. What does the computer see? A golf front lot, and they're going to value it the same as the ones on the lake, on the mid-view, or on the green. It's not apples to apples unless you know what's there. So, comparables is an art form. We all need to do it better. We can make it, you can have evidence of a non-biased report by using the proper comparables and explaining it. You start your search narrow and you expand it as you have to do it. But a comparable sale, we're going to go through all the different things that make a comparable. But your report, if it's biased, we're going to have evidence in the comps. If it's not biased, you've also got evidence in the comps. It's all about the comparable sales, and we can get rid of bias by going deeper into teaching agents and appraisers how to select comparable sales.